Good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Patmos. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. I am in Central America right now, deep into a very rural part of Central America where there is very little in the way of infrastructure. Um, some parts around here don't even have roads. And there's one thing that they can be very proud of here. Not a single child has died from measles or pertussis in 2025. Now, why do I bring that up? Because I don't know if you saw the news, but yesterday a third child died of pertussis in Kentucky. That adds to the other instances of and reported cases of pertussis all across the United States now. You may have also heard that measles is still running rampant in the United States, and states like Utah, for example, are having a significant outbreak. This current measles outbreak across the United States began in Florida last year and then spread from Florida elsewhere and showed up in Texas this year, and then it spread from Texas around the rest of the country. We have now close to 2,000 reported cases of measles and 3 deaths in the United States. Um, Now, bear in mind, for every reported case, there are probably two or three more that are unreported because patients may not be that sick. Maybe they don't go to the doctor. Maybe the doctor doesn't make a correct diagnosis and calls it something else, or just fails to report it to public health. So, if we have close to 2,000 reported cases of measles and several hundred reported cases of pertussis, there probably are significantly more. This comes as a real gut punch to doctors and others who care about public health. And since I happen to be in Central America right now, I thought I would ask the question, what is going on down here with these diseases? Are children dying from measles and pertussis here in a developing nation that lacks the infrastructure and development of the United States? The answer is no, they don't have any, but we do in the United States. So that led me to the following question, and you can see the data below in the text below. Where does the United States rank with respect to childhood immunizations among other nations in the world? Well, if you think the USA is number one, you are sadly mistaken. We're not even in the top tier of nations with respect to childhood vaccination rates. We're outperformed. The United States is outperformed by such countries as Cuba, Rwanda, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka, among many others, all of whom have higher vaccination rates than the United States. There have been no reported deaths from measles or pertussis in Cuba, Rwanda, Bangladesh, or Sri Lanka, but there have been in the United States. Uh, we are in a middle tier of middle performing countries, and we're going down. The vaccination rates in this country are declining. Robert Kennedy and the other anti vax people who now are dominating and empowering the United States are spreading misinformation about vaccines, discouraging people from being vaccinated. And we're now seeing a rapid decline in vaccination rates in the United States. Having up to date data is difficult to come by, but I think before long we will see the United States has declined perhaps as far down as the lower tier status of nations among nations around the world in terms of vaccination rate. This is ridiculous. This is the United States of America. We should not be an average performer or lower than other countries. We should not be being outperformed by Rwanda and Cuba on vaccination rates. So if you're one of these people who thinks that the United States leads the world and is the greatest nation on earth with respect to vaccination rates and childhood diseases and death from preventable childhood diseases, we're not in the top performing nations. We're not even close. Let me be really clear here. No one should die of measles. There shouldn't be a single death anywhere from measles. No one should die from pertussis. These are vaccine preventable diseases. In fact, Measles shouldn't even exist. If we could just vaccinate everybody on the planet, the disease would no longer exist. It would join smallpox in the dustbin of history, archives of diseases that no longer exist because they were eradicated through vaccination. But we're going backwards. We're not making progress in this regard. We're actually going backwards. And in the United States, measles was eradicated for about 20 years until just this past year, when, thanks to Florida, an outbreak there was allowed to spread beyond the state, seeding the measles outbreak that we're now seeing uh, just continuing rolling across the country. That outbreak in Florida last year was accelerated by the state's Surgeon General, Dr. Joseph Ladapo, who, in an extraordinarily dumb move, told parents of unvaccinated, exposed children that it was okay to send their children to school, violating all standards of infection control and public health. And the results speak for themselves. Measles is now rolling through the United States, infecting thousands of people, and has already killed 3. These are all preventable deaths. And now it's going to get worse because Kennedy is really pushing vaccination rates down. He's put anti-vaxxers in charge of CDC. He's lying with information about vaccines and autism on CDC, doing everything he can to depress vaccination rates. So this is all going to get worse. The United States is declining toward third world status in terms of vaccinations, and you will see, as a result, resurgence of disease and death in this country. And then you come to other third world developing countries that don't even have roads, and they do better than we do in the United States. This is embarrassing. USA is not number one. I'm sorry.